first time I was seeing this person, and I fairly did not want him to sleep over. And he was just kind of like, oh, like, can 5 more minutes? Are you tapped out? I'm like, yeah, I'm tapped out. I put my matching J. Crew pajamas on. I was like, he had the Uber app up on his phone and literally didn't call it for like 20 minutes. And I was like, whoa, get out. Like,
It's because he fell in love with you.
that's disgusting. Why? When I have no interest. It's always when you have no interest at all. It's always when you're like, I never care to see this person again. And when you're like, oh, I actually really like this person, they're like, nah.
It's because
makes you wonder how many people have been like with him. Get out of my home.
Yeah.
To the point where right now he's like, dude, we have a connection. This is going awesome.
yeah, the fact that you're not evicting him.
He was just
Yeah.
He's
sitting,
like, this girl's in love.
he was just sitting like this with his legs out like this, just on my bed for like fucking 20 minutes, just like talking about stuff. And I like, at a certain point you feel rude being like, leave. But then at a certain point I was like, it's late. I literally was like, oh, I have to record a podcast tomorrow. Gotta go.
I have to go. I have a podcast in a few months.
That's like when I quit my old job, being like, I have a comedy residency in July, so I have to quit, and it was fully January. I was like, I actually need all 6 months to prepare.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Wait, what is the best reason you've ever given for some like, hey, get out of my home?
I don't tell people to get out of my home because I'm a lover.
Well, it's like, I think it really depends, because I'm like, I know if I like somebody, I want them to stay. You know what I mean? 'Cause
Yeah.
It's just like fun. But I was like, just kind of like one and done with this guy. I was like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So if I had a roommate, though, if James Tanford was in there, I'd be like, sorry, my roommate's home. That would be weird, right?
My roommate's home. You can't sleep in my bed.
And he hates
He'll notice.
everyone.
Yeah.
He hates.
My roommate is a monster. He hates all dudes. I'll be like, James is low key in love with me, so he gets really jealous. And then James is gonna be like, I'll be like texting him, be like, you gotta act like you're in love with me, dude.
It's like having a live-in
you.
dad.
Literally,
Where you're like,
literally. But God, it was like, again, nothing like. I'm like, at least he was nice and fine, but it's like, okay, back to the drawing board. Maybe I'm gay now. Is that how that works, Gabby?
yes. It took one time
That is how that works.
of me kicking a man out of my house, and then at age 15, I was like, I'm gay. I kicked out my dad. I was like, I'm gay. I kicked a man fully out of the house, and then I'm gay.
I think I'm gay. My dad's ugly.
My dad's very handsome, actually.
He's a hot dude.
Yeah.
He is a very hot dude.
Yeah.
Parents still married?
Yes.
Oh, man. Damn it.
Sorry.
Oh, man. Gabby, I'm not batting 1,000 with these guys here. Unfortunately.
You're on the lookout.
I'm on the lookout.
Whose dad would you like?
Oh, my answer is I have a very specific answer. Have you ever seen Lucas Zelnick's father?
No.
Oh, the rich guy.
He's the hottest, like, 60-year-old man I've ever seen.
Whoa.
And he's
Okay.
that's super rich. If I was going to break up a marriage.
Yeah.
But, I don't think that's going to happen. That can't be my plan.
Welcome to Two Nosy Meerkats, where we home wreck.
Yes, welcome to the Home Wrecker podcast.
And today we figure out who we're going to home wreck next.
Yes.
It could be you.
Could be you.
Drop your name in the comments.
You, the reader.
Drop your dad's name
Tell
in the
us
comments.
whose father we should go for. All three of us collectively.
Yes,
Me,
indeed.
Lucas and Gabby are
I'll
all
butter
trying.
him up.
Lucas
and then
is
I'll sick you two on him.
Yeah. Like rabid dogs. I'm missing a tooth right now, so
Ooh.
I'm a little dog-like.
Yes.
What? I don't think it's a dog-like quality to miss a tooth.
No, but I
I'd say
just
it's-
got that dog in me. You know how it goes.
I was about to
Well,
say.
you know why I lost the tooth, right?
Yeah, because you were banging?
No, Ozempic.
Oh. That's how you lost weight, is you're losing.
No.
I was like, I didn't know that was an Ozempic side effect. But there's a lot of them. They're all coming out now.
Yeah.
The Kardashians are selling like an Ozempic gummy. Like they package something that is like a GLP-1 just like that, and they're selling it, and I'm like, so many people are gonna buy that.
Whoa.
Oh my God.
It's kind of dystopian.
Okay, but how much is it?
a little closer to you.
Okay, yeah, should I move forward? How much?
you're doing
Okay,
fine, you're
okay.
doing fine.
How much is it? It's not that much. I'm sure the thing, like they sell these supplements. I think it's just not enough of the actual active ingredient to make a difference, really.
I see. And the whole point of Ozempic is like it's injectable.
Literally,
So it just
so
works
it's-
really fast.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Zempi.
there goes my dream. There goes that dream.
The
Huh?
Two Nosy Meerkats
I should
podcast
get off
sponsored by Ozempic. Lucas has been on Ozempic for so long.
Lucas was on Ozempic before Ozempic existed.
Yeah, baby.
But speaking of
Ozempic.
Ozempic, our guest.
Our guest.
She's hilarious. She's a skinny legend. She's the most beautiful girl in the whole wide world.
Oh, thank you.
Taking New York by storm.
Ooh.
Keep it going for Sarah Barnitt, everyone.
Hello, I'm
By
so
storm,
happy
we
to
mean
be
Hurricane
here.
Milton.
Hurricane
So-
Milton.
Why did you cause that hurricane?
Oh, I was bored. you
Yeah,
know? It was
yeah.
just, I thought Florida had it too easy for too long, you know?
They've had too good of a
They've had too
reputation.
good of a
Thank God you farted.
I did. A fart causing a hurricane is fucking wild.
It's always been weird to me that cow farts like cause global warming.
They do?
Yeah, because like cows fart
They add like methane to the air.
Oh.
Methane? I thought it was methane.
No, it's euthane.
Oh.
Okay,
No,
my
it's-
little thing.
Oh, whoa. Whoa, whoa.
Something's happening at the recording studio today.
That was a southern accent, not black.
No.
And you said, okay. No, but, cows, they add a lot of, like cow farming.
Oh.
Because they use a lot of water.
Yeah.
A lot of water consumption is involved in like raising cattle, but also they then add a significant amount of methane.
Oh, okay.
And
That's
it's apparently not that good.
I guess that's part of the reason why being vegan is more sustainable, because it's, I guess, opting out of the demand for that.
Yeah.
But
100%.
then I also I get paid by a company that makes burgers and fries and all that. So please keep McDonald's in business if you guys haven't.
You work for McDonald's?
I work for a consulting firm that is McDonald's is one of our clients, and it's our biggest client. So I've been on that account for
Okay.
years. So
It's the
every
ad agency, right?
it's not. It's an IT like consult. So we're doing a lot of like the boring system implementation stuff, or like they want to move their data lake, or like writing the code for their point of sale system behind the counter, building their app, doing all that. So I'm not like technical. I'm basically just like I make PowerPoints for the big boss, and like help him sell stuff. But it's but yeah, everyone, if you don't know what McDonald's is, please stop in. You know,
They're a wonderful feminist
it's
organization.
a wonderful feminist organization, small family-owned company.
Yeah.
By Mick and Donald.
Mick and Donald's.
Mickey Mouse and Donald Trump.
But they're
MC Nanda and Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. That's who it is. Their headquarters is in Chicago, though. It's in like the Oprah Winfrey's old production building in the West
Whoa.
Loop. Yeah, and they have like, first of all, there's a sign outside that says Hamburger University, because that's like their training center. They call it that. So there's just a big sign that says Hamburger University, and then there's an international McDonald's at the headquarters. So it has every month, it has like rotating stuff from around the world. So it's like really,
Oh, that's kinda cool.
It's super cool. I would get it. Like a lot of people who work there and go into the office eat McDonald's every day. And it's not free. Also, like they pay for it. So I see a lot of the same people like getting McDonald's every day, and I'm like, guys, like you gotta know, it's not very good for you. Like
It'd be funny if like everyone who works there has seen Super Size Me.
Literally.
And it's been like, okay, this is what happens.
Oh, they tell you not to watch it. And like the founder, which is the one about
Right.
yeah, that it's not that they say don't watch it, but like the company is very against that, obviously. I think they probably sued Morgan Spurlock, but
Who's dead now?
who's
Yeah,
dead
that-
now. Well, it turns out when he was doing that, he was also like a raging alcoholic, which
Yes.
like wow, maybe that
Yeah.
had something to do with your bad health too.
Wait, that's like really good for McDonald's.
Yeah.
That's got to be great. That
Yeah.
they're like, hey,
It wasn't
not
just
100%
the food.
us.
Yeah. But I think they also tow because I've worked for other big food companies in the past, which is crazy because I'm such a skinny legend. But like another one I worked for, they had big guidelines around like we never advertise ourselves like eating this food every day or in replace of a meal, and they never advertise. This was Hershey's. This was years ago, so they never advertise showing somebody giving a child it because they say it like makes kids unhealthy. They have like very very like controlled risk and like language around it.
Okay.
Interesting.
I used to
Okay.
really like Hershey Park. That was
Yeah, that was right where the
Oh.
office was. That was like I would drive through it every day on my way to work. Yeah, it's like a company town in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Hershey Park rules.
It's
Yeah,
the
it's very fun.
best.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
the
yeah.
best. When we did intern orientation, we all went on the chocolate ride
Oh yes.
where you turn into a cocoa bean and you get toasted. It's so good. It's so good. They toast you and then they give you a Hershey's Kiss at the end. It's so good.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
The smell of the factory is so rich.
I went there. I went to the Twizzler factory, and like I also my roommate I was staying with for the summer. She was in R&D, so like she would spend her days like in the R&D lab, like making.
what's
new-
R&D?
Research and development.
Oh,
So it was
okay.
like making new products. So like
R&D was like the name of like an apartment complex when I was in college. I was like, what do you know about Ridge & Davis?
I don't. Research and development though. They're
Okay.
like the lab was like just all these different like consumer goods, like all these different snacks that they were like taking apart to like figure out the formulation of it and then like cooking stuff. It was super cool.
That would be
Super
so
cool.
fun. That might be my ideal job, working in R&D for a candy company, because it combines like my sort of like autistic brain where I just want to like take things apart,
Ugh.
and also kind of like it's kind of like cooking in a way.
It is cooking. Yeah.
I feel like that sounds like
That would
fun.
be so fun.
No,
Yeah.
The Twizzlers, do they make them by hand?
No, they're made by machine. But a fresh Twizzler, like off the line, dude.
Okay, my little grandchild, we're gonna make it a Twizzler.
Now, Lucas, what accent is that?
It's Italian. It's an Italian accent, which I'm so okay to do.
You're so okay to do.
Which I
Everyone can do an Italian accent.
Yeah, that's true. You know, I'm 2% Italian.
Are you?
Yeah, according to Ancestry. Sorry, 23andMe.
Ooh.
Yeah, yeah.
23 e me
23 and me.
Because that's actually really offensive to 2% of me.
di parlare in italiano.
2% of me, no English.
No inglese. No inglese. You know I speak Italian. I took Italian in college.
You do?
I do.
How much percentage are you though?
Io sono 3% di Sardinia.
He's got me beat.
Yeah.
He's 3% Italian.
I think I'm or it's 1.
I don't know that.
It's either 3% or it's 1.
Well,
I had,
those
like-
are different.
I had a little marker go off for Sardinia. I was like, "Oh shit, I didn't know that."
I am half Italian, pretty much. I just
Oh.
didn't get any of the physical characteristics of
Do
it.
you commit crimes?
Yes, every day. Just
That's
kidding.
awesome.
Sadly, no. But yeah, my family, half of them are Italian, half of them are like Irish, and then they have some like Nordic stuff, which I guess is like where we got most of our like skin tone and everything. But yeah, Italian. And right now I live basically off Mulberry Street, so like full Little Italy. So it's like all those Italian guys outside the restaurants, like trying to get
Yeah.
you to come in. It's very fun. I
love Little Italy.
it's so campy.
Yes.
There's a Christmas all the time
Christmas
store.
in New York.
Christmas in New
Yeah.
York.
This
Yeah,
is so fun.
It's open
Little Italy
all
rules.
the time. It's the best. They have all those like T-shirt shops there too. That just like it's so silly.
Mama's little meatball.
Literally, I walk past those every day.
Yeah. You ever get one?
No, they have booty shorts that say Little Italy, New York, and I'm like, I kind
Yo,
of
you
want
gotta
these.
do it.
I gotta
You
get
gotta
that.
I would do it.
Yeah.
Tis
Yeah.
the season. As
Maybe
it
I'll wear them when I roast Big T. How about that? I'll get him a pair
yeah.
of booty shorts.
gets- Yes. Oh wait.
Honestly, that would go really well.
Do you want to talk about how you got into roasting?
Oh yeah. Wait. Oh, is there? I'm so
there's-
excited.
Oh, Lucas, there's a story. You don't have to. You don't have to.
No. I got into roasting so a man would think I was cool. I never wanted to do this. The beginning of my comedy career, I was dating Fluke Human. Do you know him?
Oh yeah.
That's a wild pairing, by the way. I don't know what the fuck was wrong with me, but
Hey, you were
basically-
there.
He did it. I don't know. I was there, and was I cognizant or in my full brain? Probably not. But he did them, so
Yeah.
I was like, I'll try this, and then I just kept doing them, which I'm like,
That's really
that's
funny.
crazy. That's crazy. And I was bad. I was real bad when I first started too. It was like rough, but
Do you remember any of like the jokes you did like when you first started?
no, I roasted Josh Dawes. That was my first one.
Oh, yeah, I know
He's
Josh
my
Dawes.
buddy, so like that one was good.
That's good if it's a buddy.
Yeah, it was like that. It was pretty. It was like very low stakes. Like back at Bowery Electric.
Yeah.
And Matt used to do a show there.
Wait, did Fluke pay attention to the fact that you were doing roast battles and be like, "Oh, that's cool"?
No, I think honestly, he like didn't think I was good at it. I don't know. But that ended, and then I kept it up. But I think it's so funny. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I just tried to change myself for a man and don't even want to do this at all, actually. But I'm in too deep now.
Or maybe changing yourself
for a man is what you're supposed to do.
Is what you're supposed to do, and that helps you on your path.
That helps you on your path in comedy. So
because everyone is straight.
Everyone is straight.
So true.
So Gabby, change yourself for a man, essentially.
I already have. Lucas, I love you.
She's done a lot of changing for me. She's done a lot.
She's done a lot of changing.
Yeah.
She's done a lot.
Before this podcast, I was a 6'2" Ecuadorian woman.
Wow. And that's
And
the
now
power
you're white.
of love.
I'm white, but
That's set you on your path. That's the power of love, man.
I know.
Yeah.
One day he's gonna go for it.
I'm this is the effect I have on people. This one used to be Ecuadorian. Everyone is made
And now
white
she's
through
2% Italian.
Lucas is imbuing a little bit of Italian in me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I call it.
But I think it's funny though because it follows a pattern with me of like, for example, when I was in middle school, my crush really liked screamo music.
Oh.
So I was like, I like that too.
I can't imagine you into screamo music.
Nope.
at all.
I wanted to listen to the musical Rent, and that was it. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
girl.
Oh,
A redhead?
you were a redhead.
I wanted to listen to musical theater, and that was it. And I made myself listen to that kind of music, thinking it would like grow on me, and then I gave up. But I've always done silly stuff like that. Like
I got into Florence and the Machine because I was trying to woo someone in high school.
Yeah, exactly.
Did it work? Are you still into Florence and the Machine?
No, I became a fan of Florence and the Machine.
They're
I
very
just
good.
They're good.
like them.
Yeah.
They're good.
Yeah.
Florence is a great singer. Okay,
Yeah.
that's the screamo didn't stick for me. It
No.
didn't stick for me, sadly.
I'm just imagining you in your room, like it's like the most intense music you've ever heard. You're
And
like,
you're just like,
oh, this could grow.
You know,
This
you're
could
just
grow
trying
on
to
me.
there's something.
you're trying to convince yourself that you like something just so it like you have something to talk about with the other person. At least this was like something that theoretically could help me in comedy, which is good.
Yeah. Do you know what I did? Like this girl that I liked in high school, she like posted on Facebook. You know when you just post song lyrics, like 2 lines of a song
Yeah.
lyric? She would did that, and I happened to know the song lyrics of that song, and so I commented the next 2. And then in class the next day, she was like, "Wait, do you know Florence and the Machine?" I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "I love her," and I was like, "Yeah, me too." And then we like started talking. I was like, "Whoa, is this my avenue?" And so I like
Yeah.
started learning a lot. And then she got a boyfriend so quick.
Oh,
my
bummer.
God. Trying to think of
huge
the
bummer.
craziest thing I've ever done to impress someone. Oh, I've talked about this before on the pod, but when I was 13 and had my first crush on a girl, I watched a full Dane Cook special with her to like impress her. And
No one has a good day.
I fake laughed so hard. I do respect Dane Cook as a comic. I think he it's hard to make money at doing comedy.
Dan Cook, if you're watching this,
If Dane Cook
Dane
were
we're
Cook.
fans.
You did what you could.
You did what you had to do.
And but it wasn't for me. But boy, did I pretend it was. I was like, this guy's a fucking legend.
Dan Cook was one of the first comedians that I was like introduced to, though, when I like,
Yeah.
learned about stand up as an art. It
He
was
was
like,
huge.
He was
Yeah.
huge. I listened to Brian Regan first. My 5th grade teacher played Brian Regan for us on the last day of school because he was like
Whoa.
clean. She did the Hooked on Phonics bit. It was awesome. And I was like, what is this? And they're like, it's stand up comedy. And then I think I
Wow.
got into Jim Gaffigan after that, like another kind of like my dad actually knew Jim Gaffigan in college because he played football with his older brother, and then he remembers Jim Gaffigan like being somewhere where he was too and talking about how he did an internship interview and they asked him what he liked to do and he was like, I like to read. And it was like so funny. Yeah, so
Right.
that and then Dane Cook, I remember, that was like kind of my intro into stand up, like those 3 guys.
Gotcha.
Yeah. What about Bill Cosby? You ever get into him?
No, I didn't. I missed the
Sarah
Cosby
kind of
hype.
slept on him.
I slept on.
Great joke. Great
Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
I did. Everyone says don't sleep on Bill. I'm like, well, some of us had no choice. So
I have this memory. I think I've also told this story on the pod before, but of the 5th grade talent show where I watched this girl do a full like Bill Cosby bit,
Jesus.
like
That's hilarious.
as this like 5th grade white girl. She just like recited his bit about Jesus Christ.
Okay.
You know how like it was that bit. He's like, my mom said Jesus Christ so much I like thought it was my name.
Oh yeah.
But it was this little like 10-year-old girl like doing a black accent and doing that joke. And that was maybe one of my first intros to stand-up comedy. And I was like, this is what I want to do with the rest of my life. Yeah.
Do you ever
Wow.
hear about something you're like, thank God the smartphone was not around during that?
Oh
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I am so glad I didn't have certain bits of technology at certain ages, but I also deeply regret that I had other bits available to me.
Having Facebook and
Yeah.
because I'm like, I definitely did some damage there. If I go back to my like middle school statuses and my
my
my high school and like, oh God, and posting the Facebook albums. But I feel like now that Instagram lets you post 20 photos in a carousel, I'm like, so we're back to the Facebook album now,
Yeah.
essentially.
I deleted a lot of that stuff. I deleted a lot of my old Facebook posts, and now I regret it because I bet it was funny.
Funny.
Yeah.
I periodically, I remember there was like a year where I would do periodic purges of like previous posts that I had made on Facebook,
Yeah.
where you could filter it by like what you did on that day and like by this year, year before, and you could see everything,
and it's
so you
easy to
could
do
break it
that.
up over like a bit when I
Smart.
would do like little purges, so
Yeah.
make it like bite size every single day.
That's what I feel like everybody should do that, especially if they're going to go on reality TV. Because how many times have you heard that someone on The Bachelor or Love is Blind had
Nope.
like crazy, you haven't.
I've just never seen The Bachelor.
Yeah. There's like, there's always like something that came out where somebody like said the N word, or like this is so recent on this latest season of Love is Blind. They do such a bad job background checking. They missed that he literally had 3 kids. And he didn't tell the girl that he got engaged to in the pods. He had 3 kids. And he was like, I was just a sperm donor. But then there were all these pictures of him on social media with his kids wearing like a #1 dad shirt.
Yeah, I'm kind of like an old school sperm donor. The one where you get married and have a wife and children. You know, sperm donation.
It's a modern family, you know?
The #1 dad shirt is crazy.
crazy.
People can say anything.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Wait, was he actually like a sperm donor, or was
It was
he
like a friend of his who he donated his sperm to, but he had 3 kids with her. So she's like, oh, no, you're not a sperm donor. You're like an involved father. You're just like not dating the mother.
Oy.
And he like lied about it to this girl. And it comes out at like the end of episode 9, and it's like a total cliffhanger.
People have made this point before about Love is Blind, but like
It's
there
cruel.
do need to be more true uggos on the show.
Yeah.
Yes, because it doesn't really prove anything.
Yeah, because everyone is just hot.
Because if I was on Love is Blind, I'm assuming the person I'm talking to is like at least just like pleasant looking. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you should cast somebody who like, I don't know. You need somebody who's like a 2, you know? Or
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
You're never gonna see someone who you're like, wow, that's the sperm that won. You're never gonna say that on Love is Blind.
No. But there have been times when you watch Love is Blind and you see that like they meet and one person is just so not attracted to the other
Yeah,
one.
I've seen that too.
Which I love.
Yeah,
That's
it's
great.
excellent television. I think it's excellent television. Well, I don't know. There's sometimes when like they think they are and they realize they're not, but they like want to be so bad because they're like, oh, we had such a good connection in the pods. Like,
Yeah.
we have such a good
First
emotional-
season was
We
great
had
for
such
that.
a good connection when we were drunk and dehydrated
and
our
talking through a wall.
and our
Yeah.
voices were the only source of comfort. in our
Literally,
lives.
literally.
And I couldn't call my family.
Exactly.
We had such a good connection when I was isolated from all my friends and you were all I had.
Literally.
But now I have my phone again.
now,
And also,
exactly.
and also that this was the only thing I did every day.
Every day.
That was my
It's
job
like prison.
for a couple weeks.
People fall in love in prison all the time. It's the
Yeah.
same thing.
Well, it's also like I was just hanging out with someone who was like, he has camp goggles. Like
Yeah.
the idea of
Yep.
camp goggles, which is that you're in this environment, which is like an isolated little
yes.
space, and you're like, not like you're attracted to someone you'd never attract, but the environment like makes
you hornier. It
Yeah.
makes you also people like are incentivized to like form relationships because then they get to be on the show after and like that helps them followers
Yeah.
and all that. But
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. Part of me thinks that I should go on. They're never going to do it in New York because it's too expensive to film here.
Right,
But-
which is why they go every other place.
Yeah, every other place. But I'm like, God, maybe I should go on.
I've thought about doing The Circle because it seems like the only one that isn't genuine psychological torture.
I've
Yeah.
become friends with someone who was on it.
On The Circle?
Yeah.
Oh, who?
His name is John Franklin. He was on season 4.
Is he a comic?
Yeah, he is, yeah.
Oh my God. I've seen him, I think. I didn't watch his episode of his season of The Circle, but...
No, yeah, we've been like hanging more and like talking about like collaborating on some stuff. He's great.
Did he win?
I don't know. I haven't finished his season.
What, is there like prize money for it?
That's a good question.
I think there is. Yeah, you win prize money. That's like a lot of the only reason people do the show.
Do you know what's crazy is that show, Love is Blind, and Too Hot to Handle all came out in 2020 when we were all
Yeah.
locked down. I'm like,
Love Too Hot to Handle.
All of the shows about being isolated and not touching other people came out right now.
Yeah. Too Hot to Handle is this show where I genuinely think they so for all of these shows, I think that they cast from the same pool because
Yeah.
I think
yeah.
anyone who applies for one show, they'll consider them for another show. I think for Too Hot to Handle, they were like, okay, who are the dumbest people in the world? Like, who are people who like could not pass 3rd grade as adults? They are for this show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, the only time they never talk about like their interests outside of
I think they
the show,
do, but
really.
they cut it
But they
out.
cut it all
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so funny to me.
I want to hear one person be like, I like One Piece. Like
Yeah.
one time, just say a thing you like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of like contestants like on podcasts years later. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, like we would try and talk about like politics," and then a producer would run over and be like, "Talk about how much you love The Bachelorette.
Yeah.
Like, talk about how much you love her and you want to be with her," and they'd be like, okay," and start talking about it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure there's one guy who's like, "Can we talk about omelets?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like an
I like
easy
Star Wars.
dish that you like to.
Yeah.
Yes, please. Oh,
Like
please.
or anything. It's crazy because everyone on the show too. It's like you only see people talking about their relationship and the journey they're on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but I think in Love is Blind too. It's like their pod dates are like towards the end. They're like 3 hours. So like theoretically, that's where you should be talking about your everything in your life. But yeah, I don't. But
Imagine having a first date and then like you know that people are watching and you're like, all right, did you all get enough content?
content.
Did you get have you gotten enough footage that is usable?
I do.
Should
think
I-
that happens.
Can I leave and eat, please?
Should I talk about my date last
Yes.
night?
Talk about your date last
Yes,
night.
please.
Okay. So he again, very handsome, very kind, works for the fire department in New York. That's huge for me. I think that's real hot. But okay, first of all, he
does too.
It's exactly putting out fires because I have herpes. Get it? No. Sorry, Luke Binkow did a joke about herpes and firefighters.
I was just going for fire being hot.
No, I'm sorry. I'm primed.
I was going for herpes.
I'm primed for it because Luke Binkow made a herpes firefighter joke about me that I actually find quite hilarious.
What was it?
Wait,
He
what?
said, because I had that in my like questionnaire, I make a joke about like, because they ask if you're single or whatever, and I'm like, I'm single. I'm just looking to be an FDNY wife. And then he goes, Sarah's single and wants to marry a firefighter. Any guy you marry is gonna be. Oh, Sarah has herpes and she wants to marry a firefighter. Any guy you marry is gonna be fighting fires. You know,
That's good.
which was really hilarious. Shout out
that's
to
good.
Luke Binkow. That guy's great.
Wait, would you just turn the mic a little bit towards you?
Amazing.
That's perfect. You did
I'm gonna
great.
say it again. Shout out to Luke Binkow. That guy's really funny. But so this guy, he basically spoke in motivational quotes.
Oh,
Like, and we're just
Good.
like, we're sitting and we're chatting, and then he goes like, let's skip to small talk. When have you been, what's the period of your life that you've been the happiest? And I'm like,
Ho, 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 ho.
what? I don't know. I was like, college was fun. Like, I don't know.
I have to say I'm obsessed
like
with
him.
those people because like small talk to me is maybe the only thing that's actually interesting.
Yeah, I want to just like chat about something, and it was not like, and he was also trying to, this man is also kind of like dipping his toe into stand-up, but he's so not funny. And that's we met because he did Matt's show and I judged and I was mean to him. But he
Yeah, I was on that
I was
show.
like, bro, you were so not funny. I'm so into firefighters, but I didn't even consider voting for you because she.
Wow.
And so then he was like, "You want to get a drink?" And I'm like, "Okay," like because he was cute.
cute.
But I was like, but really just not good at just like no banter, no back and forth, you know. And he was like, do you know who Tony Robbins is? And I'm like.
Oh.
I do.
Sorry, can we just pause for a moment because I'm getting a little too hard. This guy's doing a lot.
Do you want his number, Lucas?
Please. No, go on. Yeah, go on. Go on.
So, and then it's just like
Fighting the fire within.
fighting the fight. He
Whoa.
could. He
Flaming.
could. But so it was just like, when you're talking to someone and they are perfectly nice and they are perfectly attractive, but it is just so evident that it is not for you. But then
Yes.
it was like hard to kind of extrapolate but also I did sleep with him. So I'm like, that's my problem.
Yeah.
Probably I shouldn't have done, but yeah, he was cute enough, so I wanted to. And then after it was just not, and that was also not good. It was just like very mediocre, very short, very like just like in time wise, and like just could have been like, wasn't. I wanted to clarify. I don't know. Nobody knows this person. But
How tall is he?
How tall is he? He's taller than me. He's like 5'11" or so.
Nice.
So like, but it was not. Yeah. So it was just like, and one of those where like it's over and I'm like, okay, I want to be in my bed eating goldfish and like watching TikTok right now. I don't want to be around this person anymore. I kept being like, gotta get up early. I gotta record a podcast. And then he wouldn't leave. He was like, what about 5 more minutes? I'm like, no, like you go. I don't want to. I want to put my clothes on. So I like went. I put my matching J. Crew pajamas on, and then he like has his Uber app open, but he's like not pressing call the Uber. And then at one point I have to be like, sorry, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. You really have to like, you really got to go. I felt rude, but at the same time, I don't know. I feel like if somebody asks you to leave their house,
No, it is rude to be asked to leave and then not leave.
Yeah.
Or at least like press the button.
Yeah. Press
Yeah.
the button, man.
And then like it takes as long as it takes. But
Yeah.
you've done all you need. You owe it to the other person to do all you can to get.
Yes.
My knee is the button. Yeah.
the button.
But
And I was just kind of like, oh yeah, I don't really, do sleepovers with people that I'm not dating. Like I think that's what I said, which is probably
that's a fair boundary.
Yes,
That's
even
okay.
though I have done it in the past, and I'm
Oh, wait, we
against-
know you're lying.
I'm lying. Yeah, I
Yes.
was lying.
Which is fine.
Yes, it's super
And
lying.
to be clear, it's okay. He can know you're lying, and also like that can be fine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because the thing
It
is,
was a
you're like,
kind way to draw the boundary.
I
think.
don't want you
yeah.
to sleep at my house.
Yeah.
Like that's the main thing.
Yeah.
I have been on dates with people where I could tell they were saying something that was very nice, but I knew was just like a kind way to try to end things, and I'll be like, you know what, fair. That's
Yeah.
what
It's
you.
it's just kind of like take the hint and be like and have it be like clean and easy. You know
Sure.
what I mean? Because you don't want to. I mean, there's no
'Cause
way.
they're trying to be nice. They're
Yeah.
trying to give you dignity as
Yeah.
a person, as you were trying to give him.
I
dignity.
was.
Yeah.
So I mean, again, not horrible, but in a way that made me like, all right, back to the drawing board. But yeah, it's
when
not
did
good.
he eventually leave? Like 1:20 a.m.
1:20. I remember it was like 1:25 because then Grace Lobo texted me and we talked on the phone for 30 minutes because I think we were just like, I was like, I need to debrief, and she's like, I'm at home eating snacks, and I'm like, I'm about to be doing that. Let's debrief.
Nice.
Let's
Good.
dish. Yeah.
It really just shows sometimes the best part of dating is like getting ready and making your face and your hair all nice
Oh,
and then
yeah.
talking to your friends about it after. Like 90% of the time, that's the best part.
Yeah.
I totally get that.
I will say I understand and completely sympathize with your story. I think unless someone is a serial murderer, I'll still kind of want to cuddle. Just because
Whoa.
I'm like a cuddle bug, I've had people I genuinely hate, and I just have them. I'm like, you can stay over if you want.
Yeah, for me, it's very dependent. It's because there are some people, like I had like kind of like a situationship where it's like we always slept over and it was, but I felt it built false intimacy. So I'm trying to be better about that.
Oh, that's interesting.
But
I love false
it's
intimacy.
like, I know I get it. I know.
That's my
It's
favorite
my
thing.
favorite type. It's not real.
Oh God.
But it's like I know I'm really into them when I don't want them to leave because my instinct is normally to be like, all right, now I need to be alone and kind of hermit. If I want you there in the morning, then it turns out I'm really into them, and that's where the issue is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it was also me just being like, okay, maybe you shouldn't have slept with this guy. Like maybe you shouldn't have done that in
I don't like that thought pattern.
not in like a horror kind of way. For me, it was more like maybe if you didn't, then you wouldn't. It would have just been easier. But I mean, sometimes you're a little horny and you want to just like, doesn't really
Yeah.
matter who it is.
No, I am always in the business of greenlighting someone who has already. I'm like, no, that's fine. You're a person. This happens. You're
Yes,
just like,
yes.
Yeah.
No,
that's
like again, no harm, no foul. But it was just kind of like, great. Now I know I want to date my intellectual equal. Gross. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Lucas is much like a gay man, not in his sexuality, but in the way that he's like, girl, you want to fuck him? Yes, queen, go ahead.
As you should, just the best behaviors.
He loves encouraging casual sex. And I love that about you.
Do I do that often?
I think
feel
you
like-
just are someone who's like, yes,
I'm very encouraged.
seek pleasure in life.
Yeah, I think I'm a very encouraging
Yeah.
person.
I think is nice. There are men who I've heard like people be like, never sleep with a guy too early because then he loses interest. I'm like, well, if he's gonna lose interest
Anyway,
Then
I
you're-
might as
then you're
well.
then you're arriving at the truth sooner.
I was talking
Yes,
about this because a lot of the like the girly dating podcasts are also like these women being like, you should never sleep on the first date because then you're gonna be in just like they're only gonna see you that way and they're not gonna take you seriously. This one girl, she's like, you should wait till at least the 5th or 6th date, preferably 10th, to protect your heart, and it's better when you wait. I'm like, I don't want to hang out with someone 10 times before knowing, 5 times before knowing if it's gonna be good.
Yeah,
Like
that's insane.
That's insane. My friend Nicole, she and her girlfriend, they waited 12 dates.
Absolutely not. Nope.
And
nope,
because
that
she's
makes me
like,
wanna
this
end
is
it
what
all.
she said. And Nicole, I love you if you're watching this, but I do not understand that this is a cry for help. She goes, I wanted to know that I could sleep over so I could do my skin and hair routines. I'm like, that is the least horny sounding thing that I have ever heard. I have never. And I'm a skincare girl. I have never let my skincare get in the way if I'm really horny from like being somewhere. I'll bring it with. I'm like, so that was it. So you're just waiting for they put sex for the first time in a Google Calendar.
I no.
I hate my people.
First time?
First time.
I hate them.
No, you got to be able to be more spontaneous than that.
Yeah.
And I will say, regarding skin and hair care, I think the whole point of being a lesbian is
share.
mooching off
To share.
of the other person's skin and hair care.
Yeah.
I don't bring shit to a date with a woman because I know they're gonna have nice ass stuff.
At their home. At their
Can I
home.
say I am also a skincare boily pop.
Yes.
I am deep into skincare.
What are
You got
you?
your retinol?
What's your routine,
Oh,
Lucas?
oh my God, morning or evening?
Both of them.
Both
Let's
of
hear
them.
it.
Give
okay,
it to us.
more. I have like a
Your skin looks fantastic, by the
It
way. I'm
does.
Thank you
noticing
very
it.
much.
Yeah.
Thank you. I have like a CeraVe soap bar, like a face wash bar.
Queen.
Because I was like buying like thank you. I was buying like the bottles and just so much, and I was like, and then I saw like in a store you could just get the bar. I was like, oh, this is a revolution.
That's great. And you can
This
do it
is
in the
amazing.
shower too. It's like
Yeah,
that's great.
exactly. It's perfect. I just So I have that, and then I have 2 bottles of Elta MD, a skincare brand, and they have like
Ooh.
an AM moisturizer and then an SPF
Great.
skincare for your face that's non-comedogenic and is really good. And so I do like
What is
2 little.
comedogenic?
It's basically like non-acne inducing.
I see.
Doesn't stimulate or anyway.
Yeah.
So I use the moisturizer and the sunscreen in the morning, and then in the evening same soap bar, but then I have a Differin gel, which is a dapple. It's like a retinol.
Yep,
I
retinol's
use
good.
that. Yep.
That's really good. It's really good for that's a perfect. See, every
And then I have
man.
a little bit of tea tree oil that I put on like little spots every now and again when I get them.
That's all you need. I try every man. I try and tell that you need a face wash, a moisturizer, and a sunscreen. And a lot of them think it's crazy because they're like sunscreen, but it's not sunny out. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's not the point. It's for sun damage. It's for the sun is still out no matter what. They do not. I once had a guy that I was seeing who he bought these, which is very sweet, but he bought the Trader Joe's like melon scented wipes that are supposed to be for your body when it's really hot.
Oh no!
And he
and
was
he's
like,
using it on the face.
yeah, and he was like, oh,
no.
you can use these on your face. I'm like,
No. Bad.
nope.
How
you can't.
how dry was his skin?
It was. I couldn't. Well, because he had like a facial hair here, so it was kind of like stubbly, so I didn't really
Okay.
feel it. But then I was like, oh, your skin is really dry.
Oh, no.
Because that's harsh chemicals you're putting on your face.
Yeah.
Woof.
I do love when men find out about moisturizer
Oh my
for the first
God.
time and they're like, this feels amazing.
Amazing.
Is this what a face is supposed to
Yeah.
feel like?
Yeah. I have a kind of a similar routine, Lucas.
What do you do?
I have AM PM. AM I have like a CeraVe cleanser and
Yeah.
then like a micellar water because it's an oil and a water base.
Micellar? What the what?
Micellar water. It's basically a cleansing water that's super gentle that like you put on a pad and it like especially if you wear
Oh.
makeup it takes it off.
Oh,
Or
okay,
so I'll do that. Then I'll do toner, which basically cleans out your pores more. And then I'll do.
They're about to say like refills your printer.
I put printing oil on my face. But yeah, so toner and then a moisturizer and sunscreen. And then at night, I take my makeup off with coconut oil, which is better than because I was spending like $50 on this balm that's supposed to take off your makeup. Coconut oil does it as
was
well.
that the Glossier one? The balm that you don't need a washcloth
I was
for?
doing
Yeah.
that, but then coconut oil basically does the same thing. It's way cheaper. Obviously, you get it at Trader Joe's, and then I do the cleanser again, a retinol oil, and then like a night moisturizer and a lip mask.
I thought you were about to say and a cig.
And a cig.
And it's a nightly
And a
cig.
cig.
That's how you keep your skin looking youthful. You smoke.
Yeah, that's how you keep your lungs nice and toasty.
Nice and
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's how you
don't
preserve
want,
'em.
You don't want clear lungs.
No, you want a little grit. You want a little grit.
A little grit.
Give them something to fight against.
I've been thinking about how to improve my skincare routine because mainly it's just like I moisturize at night and in the morning, and like I wash my
That's
face.
extremely
great.
important.
Yeah. That's
great.
That's pretty much all you have to do. Other stuff is like kind of optional and
Yeah.
specific for like different concerns that you have. But looking at your face, it doesn't seem like you have many actual skin concerns. So
Yeah. No,
you don't. You have great
I
skin.
have naturally pretty good skin, so I just like in order for it to like feel good, I have to put like a moisturizer.
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
like-
especially when I got injured playing softball, I had this scar, so every day, like 3 times a day, I put like a silicone cream on it.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah. How was this? Like, was the scar like pretty pronounced? Because I can barely see it.
it was super pronounced
when
for a
you
while.
I'm trying to remember
Yeah.
when you first. When did you get it?
when did
Cinco
you-
de Mayo, baby.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Yeah, had my little sombrero on and didn't protect me from the ball. Let me tell
And
you.
God punished you.
It kind of looked
For cultural appropriation.
I was like, God is Mexican. Not in my house, mija. Just threw the bat at me.
Oh god.
Yeah. No, mommy, you can't do that. And it's okay. I can say that because I've
3%
dated
Italian.
Latinas.
Oh, by the way, I was shooting a film for a couple days this week, and at some point, I cannot claim credit for this, but someone on set just said "queef Latina," and I was like, that is the funniest thing I've ever heard.
You know when you go to another country and you have to sign into the Wi-Fi at like all these cafes?
Yeah.
Yes.
My
yeah.
pseudonym became Queen Latifah. Because you have
What?
to put your name in all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Queen Latina is just Queen Latifah's like darker twin. Or like you can't get the rights to Queen Latifah, so you write Queen Latina just to see if nobody notices.
So Queen Latifah will not be in this movie, but we have an amazing guest.
Queef Latina. It made me laugh so much. Oh god.
I should rebrand as like.
No, you shouldn't.
I should rebrand as like Man Mathaway, so that people think they're booking Anne Hathaway. That used to happen when Aaron and I ran Anne Hathaway Presents. We would like advertise the show with these like really insane photoshops of like Anne Hathaway on the beach and like a comic running with her. And then people would write in and be like, I bought a ticket, but now I want a refund because I thought Anne Hathaway was going to be on this show.
Dude, people online are really
At
not smart.
Pine Box Rock Shop.
I thought
Yeah.
Anne Hathaway was going to be at the Pine Box Rock Shop doing her solid 3 minutes to
And
an
I-
audience that doesn't care if she lives or dies.
And I know that I bring this up too much, but I still can't believe that I convinced you guys that
Yeah.
I got Anne Hathaway to come.
During the last mic, he convinced us that Anne Hathaway
I convinced
was like-
everyone that
Yeah.
Anne
Did
Hathaway.
you like Photoshop some
No.
DMs?
I just acted the shit out of it.
He just went up on stage and was like, so I'm verified on Instagram, and I like reached out to someone who's very special
No,
to my
I was like, hey, I don't like to bring this up very much, but like, and also like before then, I was like, hey, can I go up exactly at like 6:45? I'm really sorry to ask, but can I please get that exact slot? And Gabby was like, it's annoying, but okay.
Yeah.
And then when I got there, I was like, I was trying to pretend as if I was hiding how anxious I was. Where I was like, and like I just like kept looking back, and Gabby was like, "How are you?" I was, "I'm fine. How are you? How's been today? Come on, tell me. Go on. How have you been?"
It worked like a charm.
That's
it
what
worked
a fun
amazing.
bit.
Yeah.
What a
Yeah,
fun
and then I
bit.
went up and I was like, "Okay, guys, I don't like to, say, but like I am verified on Instagram, and
Verified.
something you can do when you're verified on Instagram is message other people that are verified, whether or not you follow them or they follow you. And I went out on a limb. I was like, I don't know if this person's in town. Turns out this person was filming a movie about the 1910s in Greenpoint, and she may have had a free day today. And so...
You have no idea how hard I bought this. I think I just wanted to believe.
And so, if everyone could start applauding, because I can see them in the distance, Anne Hathaway is not here. Bye. And then I went off.
Yeah, it was crazy. And everyone was like, oh. I think it made sense also because her brother was a comic.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for a while. He was in
didn't-
the comedy scene.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did he succeed?
No.
Oh,
I
man.
mean, he has like kids and he
Man
seems happy.
Hathaway?
Man.
Brother Man Hathaway.
Man Hathaway no do comedy. Man Hathaway go home now.
Man
Sad.
Hathaway go back to a cave. Man Hathaway is like a caveman incel who like loves Joe Rogan supplements.
Aw.
Yeah,
We need more of that.
that's true.
We need more of that in the
We
scene.
need more of
Yeah.
that.
Were you ever a fan of Joe Rogan?
No.
Never?
No, it's just not really I haven't listened to a full JRE ever, I think.
Oh, so you're familiar.
I'm familiar. I'm familiar. Oh my god, when I was in Austin, I went kayaking, and my two kayak guides, one of the guy was like, yeah, Austin, tech's really booming. My boy Elon moved Tesla and SpaceX down the street, and the other one's like, yeah, and Joe lives in the penthouse of the Austonian. Like they were close personal friends with Rogan and Musk, and I'm like, no, you're
Wow.
not. No, you're not. My boy Elon is a crazy thing to say, and
My boy Elon.
it's this guy, the other kayaking guy, me and like two other people in kayaks. I'm like, we're on the open seas with these guys, and they're just I'm at their mercy. And
Yeah.
this guy thinks
I love people that think they're being convincing.
literally
I love that so much.
my boy Elon. That's crazy.
It's like one time I have this crazy uncle on my dad's side who very kind of like unwell person. I do love him, but he used to weave these like tall tales about like saving people from car crashes and stuff. And one time he calls my dad. He's like, "You're not gonna believe this. I'm at Dr. Dre's penthouse." My dad was like, "What are you talking about?" He wove this long tale about how he like defended this guy at a bar who was like being attacked, and then the guy was like, "Hey man, thank you so much for doing that. I need you to meet my friend, Dr. Dre. He was late to the bar and he would have defended me." It was like something insane like that. And then my dad was like, "Okay, so you're at his penthouse right now. You're staying in his penthouse. Can you send me photos?" And the guy's like, my uncle's like, "Bet." And he sends a photo. It is a clearly Googled image of Dr. Dre's penthouse. My dad's like,
Look at the Zillow listing.
"I hope you're having fun." Yeah, it's a Zillow
That's
listing.
good.
Yeah.
I have an uncle who used to also kind of weave tall tales, but in a way that he convinced his two sons until they were in high school that his job was fighting dragons. Because what happened was he would bring
Convinced high schoolers?
like when they were very little, and he kind of kept it up, and they all he was
excuse me.
so
Okay,
he was
okay.
so convincing that they kind of believed it, and like they would go to visit him in his office, and he would have all his coworkers play along, being like, the dragons are coming, you know what I mean? Like they would like literally play along and do the whole bit all day when his kids were in the office. And then finally, when my cousin was like 14, he was like, "So the dragons aren't real, are they?" And my uncle was like, "No, they're not."
14's a little old. for
14's
that.
14.
You're pushing it.
You're pushing it. Jeez, that's crazy.
That guy should go on Too Hot to Handle.
Literally.
Yes.
My Uncle Carl should go on to. Oh no, my cousin.
Yeah, and your Uncle
And
Carl.
my Uncle Carl.
Yeah.
We need
But he
more-
made a very great speech tying it into like at his son's wedding, when he was like 28, like tying that whole story into like how his wife is now the princess. It was very, very like we cried at the whole thing, but
Wait,
it was like
was that the wife's first hearing of?
No,
like,
the
wait,
wife
you,
knew. They had
you
been
believed how old?
no, they were high school sweethearts, so I think she'd
Oh,
heard
that's
the
even
lore.
funnier.
It's so funnier.
That's even funnier. She heard about it
And still married him.
in real time.
and still married him.
Wow.
Wow.
I do
Love
think
is
Men,
love.
there are no excuses.
Love
Men-
is love.
There
Get
are
out
no
there.
excuses to be single. You can find someone.
I do think like so there's a golden bachelor and there's like bachelor for like people in their 20s and 30s. I do think there should be a bachelor or bachelorette for just schlubby people in their 40s and 50s, and we just see what happens.
I kind of love that. Because the Golden Bachelor and Bachelorette, they're in there usually their 60s and 70s, but they're all like the hottest older people you've
They
ever
look
met.
great.
Yeah.
And they
look
all
amazing.
have like very sad, most of them are either divorced or widowed, and the ones that are widowed, like I'll cry watching it because this one guy was talking about like how this is the first time he's been happy since his wife died.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, especially the men, their kids submitted them for the show.
Yeah.
So like they literally have no idea what they're getting into, and then it's so beautiful. But then the Golden Bachelor got engaged and they got like married and I think divorced immediately because they didn't agree on where to live.
Oh God, I didn't know
No,
that.
they're breaking up faster and faster after The Bachelor.
So much faster.
Like the recent Bachelorette season, the guy who won.
Oh my God, it was so bad.
So like this woman was the Bachelorette, and she decided to have like the first Bachelor feminist proposal.
She proposed to him.
She proposed to him. Usually on The Bachelor, it's like the guy proposes to the girl, regardless of whether it's the Bachelor or the
Do
Bachelorette.
we need feminism here? Do we?
No.
Well, you'll see.
Why?
Funny
We
you
do.
should say that. So she proposed to him, and he's like, yes, yes. And then apparently right after, he asked the producers, hey, just out of curiosity, how long do people usually stay together after the show? And she went, I thought that was kind of a red flag. Which,
Yeah.
like, girl, love yourself. And then they dated for like maybe 3 weeks.
3
Yeah,
weeks.
3
He's
months.
DMing.
Yeah.
He's DMing girls. He's like going like he's they're talking less and less, and then like they'll break up, and basically it was such a bad. They broke up over the phone. It turns out, which is good because sometimes they try and film the breakups, and it's like let her have a little bit of her own
Yeah, let her have dignity, yeah.
But then they made her sit next to him while watching the proposal, and then they had to like talk about what happened, and she is in tears.
Yeah.
Like this poor girl. I'm like, don't bring him up there to watch it with her. Like, don't. I felt so bad for her. But she's also, stunning and has a lot of followers now, and she'll find a much hotter guy.
Yeah.
But
And then it also turned out there was a restraining order against him.
oh yes, another reason, no background checks. His ex, he had DV allegations and a restraining order.
Yeah.
That should be like they background check these people, right?
You
I guess not.
Need to.
Especially like
'Cause then you're putting people in danger.
somebody. I'm like, if you have a history of violence against romantic partners, don't put them on a dating show. I can't believe how bad these people are at their jobs.
I wonder if there's a common thread between like the Bachelor producers are like trying to find people to give them entertaining television, and like in order to do that they kind of just need to find criminals.
Yeah.
Like I wonder if there's a certain amount of like you need to like have some level of criminality within you in
Yeah.
order to like embarrass
But it
yourself
should
enough
be
on live
crimes
TV.
that aren't like
Should be, like,
cheating illegal, or tax evasion, drug possession. Yeah, that's good. But DV and a restraining order, that one's a little too far.
Yeah.
It's a little too far.
I think if
It's physically violent.
It's
That's
exactly.
like that's a good bar to have.
I would not put that person on but I'm in charge of
when
The
you're in charge of
Bachelor.
The Bachelor, which you will be.
What
would
crimes would you not only allow but actually look for?
look for
What are fun crimes?
fun crimes
For a bachelor.
For a bachelor, I think any sort of like little financial crime that doesn't hurt anybody, or like scamming a corporation.
Yes.
That would be. I was trying to on my date.
Now we know that you have you can put a plan into action.
Exactly. On my date yesterday, this is how much I was grasping for conversation topics. I was trying to explain to this man who Anna Delvey is,
Okay.
and he was just not understanding. And I was like, no. So she
He was like,
wasn't-
women have names?
Literally, this is all news to him. But I was like, she scammed big companies out of a lot of money, and like really rich people with art out of a lot of money. But honestly, because she only scammed really rich people, she's kind of an icon. Like, it's weird that she is a criminal, but we're also all kind of for it. Like, she was on Dancing with the Stars and they bedazzled her ankle monitor. Like, it's camp.
That was amazing.
That's awesome.
It was on Dancing with the Stars. They called Anna Delvey a fashionista and entrepreneur.
That's good. I love
Me
this
when I
thing.
embezzle.
And she got kicked off the show, and the host goes, "What are you going to take away from this experience?" She goes, "Nothing."
I actually love her.
I love it.
Well, also she has a crazy accent.
Yeah.
Wait, where is she from?
Germany
No one really
knows.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
she's
she
like
has-
Tommy Wiseau. No one
Yes.
really knows where she's
No.
from.
She
Yeah.
has like a Russian. Her last name isn't really Delvey. It's like a Russian name, so she's like kind of
Oh.
Russian. But she pretended she was like an heiress or something like that in Germany. But like she's throwing like events at her penthouse because she's on house arrest and like can do that.
Yeah. Her voice is like, I am running a business.
What? I'm sorry, but the what? What did you
I'm
just?
running a business and I'm gonna send you the money.
Yeah.
If you're
Okay.
a fan, you
look poor.
look poor. Why are you coming here? You look
look
poor.
That sounds a little like Tommy Wiseau.
Yes.
Don't come over here, you look poor.
They honestly would be a cute couple. I
Set it up.
Oh my God! Put Tommy Wiseau on The Bachelor.
There was that one girl. Do you remember on Colton season of The Bachelor, there was one woman who faked an Australian accent?
Yeah, for the beginning.
Yeah.
And the first episode, she comes with an Australian accent. And then, like, the next episode, she's like, okay, so I'm not really Australian. She's just, like, from California. Like, and that, like, worked
damn
for
it.
her. It got her screen time.
Yeah.
All right.
She does the accent to him when she first meets him, and then in the testimonial, she's like, I'm not really Australian, but you do what you can to stand out.
God damn it.
Well,
Ugh.
whatever, that guy was gay.
He was gay.
He was like faking not being.
I'm overwhelmed.
Bachelor lore is crazy.
Crazy.
I'm
Colton-
Gotta get you into
overwhelmed.
it.
Colton
Please
Underwood's
don't.
thing was he was like, you know, in the NFL for a little bit, was kind of like, you know, a big Bachelor candidate, but his whole thing was he was a virgin when he went on this season of The Bachelorette.
I remember
and
this.
He kept saying like he was waiting for the right person. Everyone thought it was kind of religious. Turns out he was gay. And he went on The Bachelor. He picked this one woman. They dated, they broke up. He kind of like stalked her a little
stalked
bit.
her, yeah.
But then he comes out
Okay.
on like the cover of People magazine saying like I'm gay, and now he's like married to a man and they're having kids.
Yeah.
But so he was just full apparently when he was doing his Bachelor photo shoot, his mom said to somebody like, I wish he could just come out instead of doing all this, because like everyone knew he was gay.
Oh.
Yeah, because he
That
would go to like
hurts.
bathhouses and stuff. The only reason he came out was because someone was going to out him.
Yeah,
Yeah. Which, like,
it's sad though.
on the one hand, it's sad. On the other hand, I don't think you should go on The Bachelor if you know that you're gay. You
yeah,
should
because it's not fair to the
It's not fair to the women.
Why are you putting limitations on the queer community?
I know.
Sorry. I'm gonna be the Bachelorette and I'm gonna date all men. We'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. Live your truth.
That was a straight
Whatever. No, just your truth. Even if you're gay, but just be like, I want to do this.
I just tell all
He
the
may
men
just would
I'm
love. He
gay.
just maybe loves doing that show. That's
He
his
loves
special
the
interest.
process. He loves the process. It's a special interest.
Sorry, I have I'm gay, but my special interest is being straight.
Straight on TV.
On TV.
The gay guy's like my special interest. I'm gay and autistic, and my special interest is pussy. Honestly, that would track. I see it.
He goes down on a woman and he's just like analyzing it.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
He's like, I just like the technique of it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Wait, you were a musical theater person.
I
right?
was.
Yeah.
Yes.
You
Oh.
remember when Leah Michelle showed Jonathan Groff her vagina?
No.
Oh, even I know this.
This was it came out in like a documentary that before they were gonna do their Spring Awakening sex scene, Jonathan Groff was like, I'm gay, I've never seen a vagina, I feel so like weird and awkward. And Leah Michelle was like in love with him. Like just girl in love with her gay co-star. And she was like, hey, if you've never seen a vagina, I can like show you mine platonically.
She's so real for that. That was some shit I would have done in high school with my gay crush. Absolutely.
How many gay crushes did you have?
Just one.
Just one?
Just
Aw.
one. Yeah. And
Yeah.
he didn't
Where
come
is he
out.
now?
He's married to a man, I think,
Okay.
doing very well for himself. Which was like, he didn't, but the thing is, he didn't come out till we were in college. So everyone pretty much thought he was straight. He didn't seem all that gay, but like,
Yeah.
now that when you found out about it, you're like, oh, that makes sense.
That makes sense.
But
Did you
yeah.
do theater in high school?
In high school, I did. Yes, I did like straight acting. You know, no gays. But like, you know, we had like my high school was like fucking extra, and we had like a bunch of different just regular plays throughout the year and then one
Yeah.
musical. So I did both of those, and then I did some acting in college, but not really. I didn't like major in it.
What'd you major in?
Information systems.
Ooh,
Little IT girl.
smarty pants.
Did some coding, but really it was a lot of bullshit classes on how the internet was changing society. But this was in 2017. I'm like, I think the whole curriculum probably has changed now.
Yeah.
Because that was before. Well, also when I was in college, I was the social media person for the university, and that was just like a random internship they opened because they're like, oh, I guess a student could do this, and then there was no strategy. Like it was, I just took a picture of a tree and was like posting it. It was like, go blue. And that was it. And now I'm like, oh, bet it's probably so competitive. They're all probably like professional video editors right now. Like the content strategies they have are crazy. None of that in 2017. That was, yeah, it was
I
really
think
fun,
a lot of social media accounts actually haven't really changed their strategy. Like some, I think, are getting on board with like, we need to like run the metrics and run the numbers.
Yeah.
But there's other social media places. It's like, yeah, we will just repost that photo of a tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think when I was leaving, we had hired a video guy because I think that's when back my boss was like, have you heard of Musical.ly? And I was like, no, what the fuck is that?
yeah.
Like,
Wow.
that was TikTok.
That was a blip.
that was
like-
Musically.
Yeah, it's like
TikTok.
being like, hey, we got this kid called John Lennon.
and I was like that. She's like, that looks silly. I don't think we really as a university have any business being on that. And we're like, okay, yeah. I'm like, yeah, there's probably no reason to be on there. And then it became TikTok.
Did
Yeah.
Musically become TikTok?
It did, yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I actually didn't know that.
No, like it got like sort of absorbed into TikTok.
Oh, the only thing I remember Musically from was those videos of Mr. Krabs where they would be like, Mr. Krabs is one thick bitch.
Oh, yes.
Let
Yeah.
me see that crusty.
Let me see. I remember that.
I remember that.
Where you could like AI any song basically and write whatever you want.
I remember it was
Someone did that for my then university president where they're like, Morty is one thick bitch. Let me see that shapussy. His name was Morty Shapiro.
We did it for my parents' cat. Roscoe is one thick bitch. Let me see that rusty. God, our brains are rotted.
Comedy is so easy sometimes.
So easy.
We should start
Like
reading
with the
books.
Dune popcorn bucket, everyone was like the
Yeah.
Nosy, and I was like, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen.
We saw Shrek Burlesque in the Fringe.
No.
It was
Trusty.
the best. It was the best stage
It
show
was
I've ever
so
seen.
good.
Wait, where was this?
It was in Edinburgh.
Fringe.
Oh,
Yeah.
of course it was.
And it was like this Australian burlesque troupe, I
Jesus,
guess.
there's nothing
And-
funnier than Australian burlesque.
It was like some of it was like really inventive, where they were like
Damn.
really creative with their costuming and the whole like how and the sort of the composition of
That's
how they did. It
amazing.
was so good.
I've never seen so much burlesque though. Like in Scotland, we saw so much burlesque. And I've never
see a lot.
There was like a scene for it. I think there is a burlesque scene here, but
There's
I just
100%.
avoid it.
Yeah.
I have seen. It's like I have a friend who does burlesque, and they were like, "Oh, please come to the show," and so I came to the show while I was on an edible. It was insane.
Wow.
I saw a guy hammer a nail into his nose and then pull it out, and then he put like a spinning saw on a sword and then ate the sparks that were flying off of it.
God damn.
It was
Art.
insane, and like he did like the most of anyone I saw that night. And I was like, "Can I give you $1?" He was
Yeah.
like, "Really? No one's given me $1 tonight." I was like, "That's insane."
Nobody tips for that?
Nobody. That's
No, but you have to bring because I think I like told Tina I was like, "Hey, I'm going to see a burlesque show," and they were like, "Oh, please bring dollars. You
Yeah.
should.
Yeah.
That's a thing you should do."
throw
And I was like,
dollars.
"Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay." And so I basically gave all my money to him. I was like, "It's insane. No one's giving you money." Damn. Because you were doing so much.
I've seen.
Everyone out here is shaking their tits and ass. I'm like, you're putting your blood in this, all right?
Yeah.
I've seen a couple of burlesque shows. One was just kind of normal, like girls doing the dance. Like, it was a friend of a friend who was on it, so I like went with her to go see it. And that was like, you know, she just like was a good dancer and like looked hot. Another one, I was on a date and the burlesque show just started at the bar and like we didn't know it was happening. We were kind of locked. We were like kind of trapped there because we were like still on our date. But I'm like, that's hard to watch because you don't want to like be like, or at least the guy like didn't want to be like looking too hard.
Right.
But I was like, I was also kind of looking at her and looking at him to see like how it was. This was like maybe a second date or something like that. So that was a tough scenario. But I think some like, well, pole dancers especially are so talented.
Oh yeah.
It takes a lot. I've only been to a strip club one time, and it was after Skankfest, and I was literally with like Robbie, which I'm like,
Such a funny person.
and
to be there
Katie
with.
Blunt, and Katie loves a strip club. She thinks it's super fun. But I was also just watching a bunch of extremely autistic comedians get approached for lap dances, and I was like, I don't want to see this. But I was just watching the girls dancing, and I was like, just like not even like feel like I am in awe of your strength, like
The core strength
leg
is
strength, yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
I saw Hustlers, and like
Ooh.
when I first saw like J-Lo do her first dance, I was like, that's insane. I was like, that is something I give a lot of respect to J-Lo for, was her work in that movie. Not a lot of other stuff, but I think she was awesome in that. And she
I
did
give
great.
J-Lo a lot of respect for breaking up with Ben Affleck like 5 times and getting back together.
that man is down bad.
They are soulmates. I
They
don't care
are.
what anyone says.
They are.
Who's your celebrity ship? Who do you believe
Ooh, that's a good
in? Who's
question.
your favorite celeb couple?
my celeb couple. Here is I really like I like watching Miley Cyrus and her husband interact. I think they're
Who's her
fun.
husband?
Liam from
Aren't they broken up?
I thought
are they
Liam
broken up?
Hemsworth. Definitely.
Damn,
They're
okay,
not
never
together.
mind then. I was just watching TikTok clips of them. I also like oh, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce.
Oh yeah, they're cute.
on,
Oh yeah,
they
you're
are
a
cute.
Swiftie.
I'm a huge Swiftie.
Notorious
yes.
Swift. When'd you get into her?
In the pandemic. I
Okay.
was not an original Swiftie. When Folklore came out, I listened to it, and then I got into. That's why I like the newer music better.
Yeah.
The earlier stuff, not a lot of it does a lot for me because I like this when she gets more, like her when she goes from pop to like kind of the genre she's in now. Which I mean, some of it isn't really pop. Like Midnight's is my favorite album of hers.
Midnight's is good.
I think Travis Kelce is perfect for her because this is like I think this is like the secret to a good relationship if you're like a woman who's a performer. Like the dude has to be so secure in himself, and he is because he's like, I'm a Super Bowl champ, I'm a Hall of Fame tight end. Like her being a pop star doesn't threaten his masculinity at all. So
Yeah.
he's just chilling now. Like her other boyfriends that has not been the case. Like her last boyfriend, Joe Alwyn, was like, you know, a working actor. He was in shows. He was pretty famous, but like you could tell he was very much like
Dwarfed by
Yes.
popularity.
his ego,
Yeah.
and he like never wanted to be out in public with her because he didn't like all the attention and stuff like that, and so she hid for like 6 years basically.
yeah.
Yeah, and Travis, they're in front of the cameras all the time. So
Constantly, yeah.
this is Gabby. I feel like you understand this. The mustache she has now, it's really doing it for me. It's
I so get it.
really, really doing it for me.
Yeah.
That I've seen a lot of that specific mustache around these parts lately, and I'm really a fan of it. To
It's
be
giving
honest.
80s porn star. in
I
a
love
way I
that.
love. Yeah.
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 I
Have you
don't
seen
know
the
why.
new Kelsey mustache?
I've seen it.
Yeah. I like his outfits
I
too.
thought you were about to ask if it did anything for me. I like being included.
You didn't do anything for you.
I like
Lucas?
being included in the conversation.
Do you like those two?
Nope, the moment's passed. The moment's passed. No, I do like them as a couple.
Me
because
too.
I what I see is them getting a kick out of each other.
Yeah.
Which is just always
That's
nice.
what you have to have. Yeah.
What do you think of their intelligence gap?
Their intelligence?
I don't think there is one.
I think he has CT.
He does have CTE. He really, really. My mom is like, he's gonna host Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? My mom's like, I don't know if he is. Like, and she's like, he'll read off a teleprompter. It's fine.
Don't say that about baby Travis.
Baby
Don't say that. Don't
Travis.
say that about
Well,
the baby.
He thought this is a funny parallel. He thought that the movie Alice in Wonderland was
Yeah.
called Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah. Well, funny you should say that because I'm still very close friends with my ex, and when that came out, she sent it to me, and she said, respectfully, This reminds me of someone.
Of who and what was the mistake?
I would totally think Alice in Wonderland was Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, you would have thought that.
I would have thought that, yeah. Like, for a long time, even as an adult, you know that, like, don't tread on me thing?
Mm-hmm.
I would read it as don't tread on me.
Treat isn't a word.
I know.
She also, just like 2 episodes ago, thought that it was pronounced Beethoven.
Wait, pronunciation question, because I did a
Yes.
show on Friday, and I have a joke where I said Oregon Trail, and the whole audience was like,
Okay.
what, the Oregon? It's
Yeah.
Oregon. And I'm like, all of you agree to this?
I would, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I think
Although,
there is a point where you do realize that it is just
you should
Oregon.
have told them they would just die of dysentery. on
I
the Oregon
yeah,
Trail.
I should have. Now that you think, I always come up with the best crowd work and comebacks when I'm like in the shower the next day. You know
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I
So
mean?
same. Yeah.
Like for every roast, like I on the train ride home from the roast I just did with Chris Crespo, I came up with the best comeback for one of his jokes.
Wait,
and
go on.
It was he did a joke. He's like, Sarah's a triplet, but you can identify her from the bumps on her pussy. And I could have said, yeah, it's like Braille, Chris. You wouldn't understand because he doesn't
That's
have
good.
hands.
That's so good.
That's
That
good.
came to me like 30 minutes after, and I was like, God damn it.
Yeah, that's
I know it. I intimately know that feeling.
It's like, or even in like a personal, not even on stage, like even in a personal conversation, do you ever think you're like, this is how I should have said that?
100%. I would say like
every
that's
time.
a dominant theme of my life is like the day after being like, I would have said the most interesting, not even necessarily like trying to be funny, but I was like, oh, I wish I brought this up.
Yeah.
That would have been so
Yeah.
good to bring up. Or yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I just let the past go. Just kidding. That's so not true about me.
No, I don't. How did you feel after our roast battle?
That was fun. That roast battle was so fun.
Listen, if I didn't win, then I would have been feeling a lot worse. You know what I mean?
Oh no, fair. And you annihilated. You did
Yeah.
annihilate.
It
You
was-
did
I mean,
amazing.
listen.
Your final joke is one of the best roast jokes I've ever heard. 'cause
I
it
loved
was
it.
so silly.
I
and
was so great. I don't know. That's one where sometimes you just think of jokes that like just pop into your head and you're like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
write
yeah,
that
yeah,
down. Oh, that was really fun though. And listen, that clip is the single most that got me 1,000 followers in 2
Wow.
weeks.
That's great.
So like,
That's awesome.
dude, thank you.
Yay! Thank you.
Yeah, that was
It blew my follower count up 20%.
That's
Yeah.
great.
It was crazy. So I'm like, it's also I've had like 2 or 3 reels that have massive like increase in followers, and then every other reel like does nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's like kind of when I was like, oh, you have to start posting more clips so you can.
Right,
do
yeah,
that.
so you can, like-
I get mad at myself for being like, you don't have enough followers. I'm like, well, bitch, you don't post your clips or
Yeah.
anything, you know? Not as much. I don't do sketches as much because I like. Sometimes I sit down to be like, okay, I'm gonna write a sketch, and then I'm like, or a front facing video, you know, and I'm like, I have nothing to say, so it's hard.
Yeah.
You gotta be in the right, I think as creatives, it's like we have to be in the right frame of mind to make something. But
Yeah.
then
Totally.
sometimes it's like you just gotta start and it'll come.
Yeah.
I don't know. I struggle with that a lot with like writing, like pilots and stuff. I'm like, I'm not feeling it right now. And then you just
Yeah.
have to write
You're
something.
waiting to get inspired. You're like, why isn't it happening?
Yeah.
I was, me and Abby Volman were talking, and Abby has like her idea kind of for a show is kind of, I mean, this is like probably not the right way to say it, but it's like, just like, think of HBO girls, but the girls are trying to do stand up because you've never seen that before. And so I have episode ideas that are kind of funny. Like, what if someone does a joke and someone in the group is trying to figure out if the joke is about them? So the whole episode is like that. Or like there's
That's
one.
a good plot.
Yeah.
That's a good plot.
Or there's like one whole episode that's just in line for Kill Tony signups at Madison Square Garden.
Bottle episode. I
Yes.
love that
Yes.
idea.
And I
Yeah.
listen, I know nothing about screenwriting. I'm taking my first like how to write a pilot course, just like fucking a masterclass. So like I'm like getting excited about like thinking about that, but I have no idea how to write a script. So
It's so fun. Once you like learn, I mean, I loved the process of like, I went to school for it and like, I loved the process of like learning how to do it because it feels like trying stand up for the first time where like you do fail a lot. And I don't know, I just remember like early on in stand up, like if I was bombing and like totally unable to get it back. And now it's like most of the time, not always, But most of the time, if I'm bombing, I can kind of get the crowd back.
Yeah.
And there's times in writing where it's the same. You're like so inexperienced and you write something, you give it to someone, they're like, this is okay, this is like so off the mark. But then it's just like you keep doing it, and with time, it gets better and better. And I think it's cool to like go back to that somewhere in our artistic process, because like we're like working so hard at this one craft, but writing is so different.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's pretty different than stand-up.
Which one do you have experience doing scripts and stuff like that in screenwriting?
I do not have experience in screenwriting. I have experience in playwriting, and then I have like experience in sketch writing, but not anything like really a lot longer than that.
I do. The idea of writing dialogue does appeal to me sometimes, because I just have like, I think writing dialogue can help too, because that helps with word economy, and it helps with like exposition, which in jokes sometimes you need exposition too. So I feel like that's helpful. But so that's my next kind of journey, is like learning how, because I am somebody who came into stand-up just kind of knowing that stand-up was a thing, but I really didn't know a lot about like the industry and writing jobs, and a lot of people's end goals are not just stand-up, and I was like, oh, I didn't really even know that. So now I'm kind of like exploring all that, but yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Abby's idea for a TV show. And I'm like, is it just all of us? And what if all of our friends played their own characters? That would be sick.
That would be. That's
Pretty
kind of
nice.
what. Do you know the show Flatbush Misdemeanors?
No.
It's Dan Perlman and Kevin Iso. They're both comics.
Oh, I know Dan Perlman. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perlman rules. Yeah.
And they just wrote this show, and they just cast a bunch of their friends in it, and they cast like all these awesome comics. Like Maria Bamford, I think, plays his mom.
Oh, that's
in it.
awesome.
And, like Sam J plays Kevin's sister, and they just like did this show kind of all themselves, and like eventually got it to a network. And I think that that's part of it, is like we have this network right now of people who are brilliant but kind of untapped, and like we're all willing to do each other's projects.
Right.
Absolutely.
And maybe like tapping into that and being like, okay, let's cast our funny friends and stuff. I don't know, maybe something happens.
Some of this
Yeah.
also might be self-serving, because I'm like, oh, writing the dialogue also helps me like redo a conversation I had with somebody that I wish was different.
Yeah.
That
It
is
lets
so
you correct-
therapeutic about
yeah.
writing.
Yes.
That's what I like about writing. I get to be like, fuck you, and this and that. You know what else?
I
And then-
have a
yeah.
scene idea of just like randomly running into somebody who broke my heart at a CVS and seeing that he had magnums in his thing, and me being like, you don't need those, and then just walking away.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's a great situation to have happen.
Yeah.
It's just like, I love,
And then I
like,
get
a
mad
cut-
because
yeah.
he's like in my neighborhood, even though like I live in Lower Manhattan, and it's like a very I'd be like, what are you doing here? You live in Brooklyn. You're in town? You're in the neighborhood, really? He's like, yeah, I was in the neighborhood. And you don't need those, and then I run away or something.
like in Gossip Girl when they banished
Yeah.
Jenny from the Upper East Side. That's a great plot point in Gossip Girl. One character is just like, you're banished from this neighborhood. And it's like a thing. It's like, if she is spotted in the neighborhood, she is cooked. Because she's banished. The queen banished her.
Oh my god,
Yes.
I would cry.
What if I got banished from Bushwick? You are banished from Bushwick.
Oh,
and
no.
You are seen here.
Oh, no.
What am I gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
Oh no, I only have to stay in Williamsburg. Yeah, we should go into some.
Oh, yeah,
submissions.
so we've
I need to
got-
find my phone. One second. All right, we are back. We have some listener submissions that we have for Sarah Barnitt. Number one, when you listen to music, are you a lyric or a beat person? Can I guess?
Yes.
I think you're a lyric person.
Yeah, I
You
would.
listen to lyric.
I do. Well, being a swiftie, lyrics are very important to
Exactly.
me. I also, though, there are certain songs that I can only listen to in specific moods. Like, I'm not somebody who can just throw on a sad song if I'm not sad. Or like, so I think it's interesting though, because sometimes if the beat is too boring, then I don't really want to listen to the song. But usually if a song has really good lyrics, then like it'll be one of my favorites. You know?
Yeah. I think Swifties do tend to be lyrics people.
Because that's her. That's like really what she's
Yeah.
good at.
Yeah,
like,
if you
she's a
like
writer.
Taylor Swift for the beat,
It's not. That's not what it's for. You
Yeah.
know, it's
Yeah.
not. And she'll just like. I also think Sabrina Carpenter, very good lyricist because she's funny.
She is.
super
I like her
funny.
a lot.
Yeah.
I
I
love
like her.
Sabrina
I'm a
Carpenter.
big fan. So
Yeah.
it's like I think when artists can like put their personality into lyrics, because how many songs do you listen to where the lyrics sound exactly the same?
I know.
So
Yeah.
I really, those are the artists that I really like.
I also remember Sabrina Carpenter's lyrics more. Like
Yeah.
they actually, I feel like they are communicated more.
Yeah.
Whereas like with Taylor, like I had friends, I think maybe last year they recommended that I really try to listen to Taylor Swift and just like, and like I found it really, honestly, like kind of energy draining because I just don't naturally listen to lyrics when I listen to
Yes.
music. And so I kept having to stop myself and be like, no, you're enjoying music in the way you normally do. You're not like actually trying to take it in. And it felt too much like homework.
Yes. Yeah, I would say it's kind of daunting, especially the Tortured Poets department, because that clearly she was in a fucking spiral from a situationship, because that was like
Matthew Healy.
Matthew Healy. So like she dated this guy for 6 years, they broke up. Some songs are about that. There's only a couple. The rest of them are about 3 months with Maddie Healy totally fucking her up, which is like so accurate of
So
how
real.
a situationship will kill you versus a long-term relationship ending like you're gonna be kind of okay but just kind of sad and reflective. But a situationship you're gonna be like, literally this was the last straw. But so some of those lyrics are very, very like deep, and it's like especially that album. No.
Yeah. Why is that? Why is it situationships are so cutting? Is it because they like don't treat you with care?
I think it's because they hold a lot more potential than what a relationship otherwise confirms for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
it's
a relationship is very like confirmed confidence, whereas like situationships is like it
Yeah.
holds a lot of promises.
And it
doesn't-
feels, you feel, at least since ones I've had experience with, I feel crazy the whole time, and I'm like looking for the person to validate, like, oh no, you're good enough for me to date, like, and you don't get that, so I feel like it hurts you more. And you don't really get any kind of like when a long-term relationship ends, there's usually a reason, and you kind of can wrap your mind around that. But like the promises, and then when they don't actually want to have a relationship with you, you're like, well, why, and you never really find out.
Yeah, and it's like
Yeah.
stuff that goes unsaid.
It's also a lot of just like ups and downs, so you get kind of like addicted to the drama of it all, so it just
Yeah.
leaves you.
But it's like I think that situationships hit deeper for the same reason that the dark is scary.
Yeah.
It's because like the dark, it's scary because you don't know what's out there and you don't know like what could get you. But in the same way you don't know what a situationship could become.
so you're saying you're afraid of the dark?
No. No, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. I do. All right, we got a listener.
All
so-
right,
right, let's
listener.
get it.
Hello, longtime
Hello.
listener of the pod. Anyway, I'm a freshman in college and I have a horrible roommate.
Oh my
This
god.
person doesn't clean up their space at all, to the point where it starts infiltrating my space. It'll be clothes, weed, trash that they just leave around.
Hasidic Jew?
The biggest issue with cleanliness for me, yeah, they live in a tunnel, is they don't throw away the garbage from their food. All they eat is Wendy's. Girl. The bags and cups will be everywhere. I'm going to school in NYC. Also, side point, I want to go to one of y'all's comedy shows. Please come.
Please come.
So I'm worried about getting rats. That's fair. They will also smoke in the dorm all the time, which I don't mind. I smoke too, except they smoke actual bud, which the smell sticks compared to a cartridge. Aside from
Yeah.
cleanliness, they are generally kind of annoying. They don't know when to stop talking and will be yapping to me about something in the middle of the night as I am literally snuggled up in bed. They'll be on their phone with their mom, arguing all the time. They went to go buy 4 Locos at 1 a.m. and came home, got drunk, and watched Good Burger alone.
Okay, that kind of
Okay,
rocks.
right.
The kids are okay. The kids are all right.
Which messed with my sleep that Tuesday night. They never
Oh.
leave the dorm unless it's for a class or to go to a show. There's a weird vibe sometimes where they think they're better because they're alt and I'm more feminine and like basic, I guess. The worst thing that I think has happened though is one time I'm pretty sure they were masturbating because they thought my other roommate and I were asleep. It hasn't happened since, and I never talked to them about it, and I have no clue what my other roommate thinks, but I just wanted y'all's advice for communicating boundaries and also just to kind of vent.
Masturbate in front of him.
I like
Louis C.K. that shit.
Well, Louis, I have a lot to say about this because I had a college roommate like this.
Oh,
Really?
My freshman,
your
I
shit.
had 2 different roommates my freshman year. The first one left to go to rehab. So the second, she moved in like my second semester of my freshman year. Same situation. She wasn't just messy, she was like dirty. Like all food, laundry, all that, which is disgusting. And then she also like rarely left the thing. And she also had sex when I was in the room. Like had been sleep because like it was like a Saturday. I remember this Saturday night. I was like studying because I think I had a midterm that Monday. So and then I went to bed kind of early, and then she came in late and was just fucking. There was a guy there, and I remember I woke up facing the wall, and I was like, okay, if I move, then they're gonna know that I'm awake. But if I don't move, then I have to like listen to it. So I just kind of like didn't move and tried to fall back asleep, and I did. But then she was like, did I wake you up when I came in? I was like, no, it was fine. But so
what a trolley problem.
Yes, what a trolley. That's the real trolley problem. You're never gonna actually be on a trolley that kills 5 people.
No.
But you might have a roommate that fucks when you're there. What I would say is it sounds like you also have another roommate, which is good because there's strength in numbers. If this person's behavior is also impacting your other roommate, which it probably is, because I'm sure your other roommate has issues with the mess and masturbating and the noise. And so I think what I would say is first talk to your other roommate and just say like, are you experiencing this? And then
gang up against this person.
Maybe. And you can maybe even one of you just appoint someone to talk about it and say like, hey, I think you tackle certain issues at once. So like, I think if you went up and you were like, and you were masturbating and you were on the phone with your mom and you're smoking in the room, like pick 1 or 2 things that you think are the biggest problem. Because it also sounds like it's October. If you're a freshman, you probably just started. So you just started living with this person.
Yeah.
So you might say like, hey, we're like, maybe start with the mess and the cleanliness of the room. Start with like, hey, there's 3 of us living in here, so we want to keep it as clean as possible. So would you be able to, and give them like tasks that they can do, and then like reward them when they're
Like a dog.
when they're yeah, exactly. Be like,
You Pavlov your way
hey,
out.
thanks for doing that, really appreciate it. Or like, you know, if you say like, would you clean up your wrappers and whatever, and then maybe also say like, hey, next time we smoke, let's open a window. Like maybe just like, I would say tackle small problems first and get on the same page with your other roommate. And if it's really a problem and their behavior is bad, then both go to them and say like, hey, because it sounds like they're friendly with this person. So maybe say like, we like being friends, but these things are making it hard to live together. And I wouldn't list all of them. I would start with the biggest problem first, and then I think good behavior will like help them have more good behavior.
That's true. And that did make me think of something, which is this is probably their first time living alone, too.
Yeah.
So maybe
Oh, yeah.
they don't understand that you have to keep the room clean if there's other people in the room.
Yeah.
And helping them to understand that. And even offering, like, is there something I can do that would be helpful for, like, do you want to talk about, like, how to clean the room? Like, for me, it was always difficult because sometimes it was, like, executive functioning. Like, I didn't know, like, I didn't know that you got to have places to put everything.
Yeah.
You know? You got to, like, designate a drawer for this or designate a drawer for that. And, like, everything needs to go in its place. And I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, talking through these things is helpful, too.
Also, if you
I definitely was not a good roommate when I started out. Like, I was not good at washing dishes. Like, I'm already bad, but, like, I actually didn't know some stuff. I will say something that I did, which I now realize was incredibly gross, but was a thing that kind of my dad raised me with, was that if, like, I used a glass to have some water, if I just did that, I thought that rinsing it out was enough.
Oh, it's
Oh.
not?
people do that, I think that that's not that gross.
It's it could be improved.
Okay, fair.
Could be improved.
Fair.
It's fine. That's kind of what I do now. What do I know?
Water, I will say that is probably fine. But yeah, that's a good point though. Like they also don't
Well, like something like coffee would like kind of
Stain it?
and I would
Yeah,
you gotta
but
wash
water,
it, but like
yeah.
but I would think that if I rinsed it out and was like visibly, I thought that was enough, and like my roommates are like, that's not enough, and I was like, I am very sorry.
That's just stuff you gotta learn. But so I think asking like, do you know, is there a way we can configure the room so it's easier to fit everybody's stuff? Or, you know, I also think too, if this person is like, it sounds like, and listen, this is how a lot of us live. You know, they're not leaving their room very much, and they are, seems like they're drinking a good amount and they're smoking a lot. I'm like, is this person okay? You know what I mean? Like, are they experiencing something like mental health wise? That, because I remember my freshman year roommate, when she was going through, like, she was like addicted to drugs and all that, but she was also pretty depressed. She like almost never left the room. So it's like, one, maybe you can open with like, hey, we noticed that like you're in the room a lot, you're having a hard time keeping the space clean. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Is everything, and then maybe that opens a bigger conversation about like how to do that, and then you can lead with like, you know, concern for that person as well as like you wanting them to do better in your shared space.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think that all sounds fair, and also just remembering and having compassion for the fact that like none of you probably have ever really shared a room with like 3 people your age before.
Yeah.
And the masturbating stuff.
That's crazy. If that happens
That's a
again,
lot.
just if that happens again, then you should call it out, because they're gonna keep doing
Or
it.
clear
Yeah.
clear your throat.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Or just shift.
Yeah, just be like,
Or
Yeah.
just like a little like rustle something.
because that's difficult living in a space where you can't do it, but
It is
you gotta
tough.
find time. to-
Yeah.
you gotta
You
put a
gotta-
sock on the door or something and be like, this is my space. This is my time. You know.
I
Yeah,
also
but
would
it's
not-
kind of rough when you like open the door to take the sock off and then they realize you were in there alone.
That's a good point. Yeah.
That's
I was having my goddess time.
That's what I called it.
And speaking of
Hey, I was
goddess,
having my goddess.
speaking of goddess, we're going to our last section of the podcast.
Yeah.
Lucas, would you like to introduce it?
Sure, let's do it. Okay. Goddess time.
Goddess time.
Woo!
My goddess time.
Oh, God. Okay. So, this is in like 2 parts. So, the first part is self-perception corner, where we ask our guests to describe how they believe they're perceived by other people.
Oh boy.
And then we say how we actually perceive you.
Jesus Christ. This is oh boy. Tricky, you two. Tricky. I think that, like, well, I don't know. Some of my friends have perceived me saying I seem uptight, which is not wrong. But I don't know. I think I'm probably like corporate girly pop. But I'm a little quirky and autistic too, so sometimes it's hard to marry that. Generally pretty outgoing, pretty nice, pretty smart. I don't know. Jesus Christ. The council will decide my fate. Jesus.
Yeah. And now we get into it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I will say, I maybe a little bit of that. I would say like a little bit. Maybe like I would say corporate girly pop, yeah, for sure. I feel like you're a good organizer. I think you're very hardworking.
Really?
I
Thank
definitely
you.
read you as very, very hardworking.
I agree.
Yeah, and that you are always excited by like the hard work that other people are putting into whatever they're doing.
It is. I mean, like, it's fun to see people like really make stuff, because I think that's something when you don't do an art form, you don't really, you know what I mean? You don't know, but like it's fun to see people like have their passion projects and like do the whole thing. It's very rewarding. It also makes you feel, you know, it helps you get inspired to keep working on stuff.
Yeah.
I don't have a project yet that feels like my project. So that's like something in the next year or so I really want to be like, what is it? Is it a one-woman show? Is it a podcast? Is it sketches? Is it writing scripts? Like, what else other than my normal stand-up feels like my project? Because some people they can more clearly define that than others, and I don't exactly know what it is for me yet. So
Yeah. That's fair. And I think you'll find that'll lead well into our second segment of this. But I want to say, I think it's always fun to talk to someone in comedy who's like clearly very smart, you know, 'cause, like,
thank you.
you know, we do this and like we're all creative smart, right? But it's fun to talk to someone who's got a lot going on up there, and you definitely do.
Appreciate it.
And I feel like I knew that about you immediately. I feel like, and this is not like a bad thing, but I feel like you're like self-preserving. Like you have almost like a shark instinct about you, where like
Whoa.
you're not gonna
I
like
definitely
let
see
anyone necessarily like fuck with you, and you're gonna find your path, you know. And yeah, I feel like you're a girl's girl, which I always appreciate
Yes,
as
yes,
a
very much
female
so.
comic. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I see you as a guy's girl.
Ooh, guys are
You're
just
kind of like whatever, whatever we are, like you're kind of that girl.
Yeah.
Anybody who says guys are just so much less drama has never been in New York City comedy. My God.
I abstain. I abstain.
Anyway,
second bit.
Second bit of the final segment is Prophecy Corner. This is a little sillier.
Okay.
So like be as goofy as you want or as serious as you want of where do you see yourself going in 5 years?
In 5 years.
Or where do you
Okay.
see yourself? Do you like different job? Do you own a plant? Do you have a different hobby?
I definitely think I'll have a different job only because I've been at my current job for 7 years. Like
Yeah.
I've never worked anywhere else. So, and I've been coasting in that, like I've been in the same role for a while. I'm pretty comfortable and like well regarded. So I'm like, why would I leave? But I definitely, if anything, I'll be looking for a job that is a little less intensive or like requirements on my time and energy to like kind of really go deep in comedy. But it's hard because like I'm making a decent salary right now, so it's but I do think a different job, I think it will be I think I had a perception of work where it's like I'm just going to be doing some email job forever, and I think maybe what can I do, what are other skills that I have that I can get, that I can monetize, or is it that I just do a similar role at a different company? Like I think I will be doing a different job. I don't know why, but I think I'm going to end up living in Astoria, Queens. I like that place a lot. I love Manhattan. I've been a Manhattan girl for years, but I feel like a little slower. I'm hoping to have a long-term partner in 5 years, but who knows? I want an English bulldog.
Oh.
I want an English bulldog that I take with me to all my spots, and it's just like my little mascot. It hangs out in green rooms and stuff. That's my dream, but
That's a nice one.
They're very expensive. And then comedy-wise, one thing that I know I want is I would like some kind of writing job that involves just like punching stuff up. I can see my path being like becoming a writer for somebody else, not to say that I don't want my path to be me and my voice. The other thing that I think I might do, and I'm kind of cracking at this right now with like writing material about having herpes, is like a lot more polarizing, but women seem to respond very well to it. So like I want to have something where like I have a space or an art that like younger women kind of flock to, is like they needed somebody as like an older sister to be able to tell them that, but not in a patronizing way, you know? Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. And I definitely think you like already sort of fulfill that for people. Like, I feel like, I don't know, when I see like you and all the girlies at, Comedy Fight Club or whatever, I'm like, oh,
I'm their mother.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Oh
you
my
got two
God.
different kinds of spots.
Yes. Oh, I do. Oh, I thought you meant like shows and no, I do have two different kinds of spots.
So
That's
sorry.
beautiful.
It's okay.
Sarah, where can the people find you?
You can find me at Sarah Barnitt, at Sarah with an H, Barnitt, and you can follow my two shows that I'm producing. One is called Thirst Trap Comedy, and one is called See You Next Tuesday NYC, which will be, our first show is on October 22nd at Bushwick Comedy Club. So come on out.
Yay. Yeah. Amazing. What do you got going on, Lukey?
What do I have going on? Oh yes, I have. I am headlining the Gutter on the 25th.
Ooh.
I have that show that this one is hosting over
I'm gonna
here.
host the shit out of that.
This
Yeah.
little chestnut.
Yeah.
I'm doing that. I have my monthly show, which we have a date for November, and we're going to be posting about it very soon. It's First Impressions Comedy. Otherwise, sign up for my mailing list. Tell me where you want me to go. I'm going to be doing a co-headlining show with Laura High in January.
Oh, Laura High's awesome. I like
Yeah,
her.
yeah. But yeah, otherwise, I will be sharing more about other shows I got coming up very soon. Oh yeah, this weekend I have a couple shows. One is the Shakedown. The other one is Marketplace Live at Caveat, I think. Yeah, yeah. I've got some good fun stuff.
Nice. Come see my birthday show, doing a half hour at Fiction Bar Cafe on November 9th, which is my real birthday. 7 p.m. Come through. I'll be posting about it. Thank you guys for listening.
I'm putting it in my calendar.
Oh my God, yay! And thank you to Sarah Barnitt, our amazing guest.
Yay!
And join us on Patreon and subscribe to our
Yeah,
Patreon,
join
because
us on
we need you.
Patreon.
We want all your money.
Thank
We need
you.
your living.